maybe you don't got to go get a 2x4 and do 1,000-yard board pushes.
You
should, but maybe for you the equivalent is getting out and walking a mile because you're way overweight. You haven't trained maybe ever. So maybe you're listening to this, or maybe you're a little older, whatever. The encouragement, the hope is that this gets you out, that this inspires you to get yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do something beyond what you think you're physically capable of. We thought we were in decent shape. This pushed us to our physical limit. That's my encouragement to you, because the perspective that we now have after Saturday, it seems dumb, it seems trivial that a workout can do that for you, but it truly can teach you. It gives you great perspectives. How's the body feeling, Ty?
Not bad, actually.
Not bad today?
Not bad today.
It's been what, let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days?
Yeah, about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it like day 2?
So I was just like toast all of Saturday.
I was too. I napped for the first time in I don't know how long.
Toast.
I just felt so exhausted.
I think I was asleep that night at 7:30. Tiff had a dinner, and so I was home with the kids, and I was like, "Hey kiddos, we're all exhausted." Yeah. And they're like, "We're not." I'm like, "Yes, we are."
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Listen to Daddy. Yes, we are.
And so I was toast, and then Sunday, 100% was recovery day. I'll take that back. I was in the yard for like 10 hours, but
the ER,
the yard.
Oh, the yard
outside
the ER
in the yard.
Okay.
But I don't know, feeling better today.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, we are referring to, we did our first ever Saturday suffering this past weekend. And as the name implies, there was a lot of suffering had. And it was tough. And so we wanted to dive in. We talk about it all the time, the just all the things that fitness teaches you. And we still stand by all that. But I think Saturday opened both of our eyes just to how much, when you really push the limit, when you really go beyond what you normally would do, really how much it does teach you.
Yes.
And the eye-opening experience that it was, and the perspective that it gives. And so I wanted to dive into that today and just talk about, what did we learn from that experience? What did we take away? The humility that was achieved. But before we do that, obviously we want to thank our partner, Choctaw Casino and Resort. I think we are setting literally the record for most consecutive 100-degree days. I think we're in the midst of it right now. And they predicted this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so it's hot. And it's not just here in Texas either. It's across the country.
Yeah.
Everybody's
California,
feeling it. Yep.
Arizona, across the board.
Yeah. Wildfires, and everybody's feeling the heat right now.
Yeah.
And so if that's you, if you're here in Texas, if you're in Oklahoma, if you're in the area, a great place to escape this heat, not only for their massive casino, HVAC casinos and restaurants.
Keep it nice
bars,
and chilly, too.
Keep it nice and chilly in there. But they have a brand new resort-style pool with any drink that you can imagine, fruity drinks, refreshing drinks.
Yeah, coming right out of the fruit. Just carve out that pineapple, pour that drink right in there.
So Choctaw really is right now the best place that you could go and get out of this heat and just have a good time. There's a lot of craziness going on. It's a great place to just go unwind.
Yeah, like if you're in Dallas or you're in Oklahoma City or you're in really anywhere in Texas and you're in for work, you're from out of state, what I would do is I would say, look, just extend your trip one extra day, extra night, and then spend the last night up there. I mean, the brand new hotel that they built is next level. And I mean, plenty of restaurants, plenty of things to do. And not to mention, they're giving away, $2 million?
Yeah, they're always giving away money.
This month? It's crazy.
What other entertainment venue gives away that much money?
That's right. Not only are you going to have fun, potential to make some money, but then you have some potential to make some big money.
Yeah.
So Choctaw Casino and Resort, Darren, Oklahoma, just on the other side of the border, Texas and Oklahoma. It's just a short drive up 75, like we always say. And I'm telling you, you will not regret making that drive up there.
That's right. We actually got a trip planned up there here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. get yourself up there. Maybe you'll see us around.
That's right.
Choctaw Casino Resort. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So yeah, I was sore. I'd say traps were sore, shoulders were sore. My glutes were sore, surprisingly. My quads, which felt it the most the day of, 100%. Weren't sore at all, which was interesting. But yeah, that YouTube video I think is going live this Saturday. So what we did was we had a 2x4, literally a 2x4, and we were on a turf 100-yard football field. And the workout was pushing the 2x4, think like a bear crawl, essentially.
Yeah. Yep. Except you're not walking.
Or like a down dog, something like that. You're pushing the board on the ground 100 yards, so from goal line to goal line. If at any point in that 100 yards you have to stop, which Tyler and I had to stop quite a bit, the penalty is 10 burpees, which
every time
that's not a rest.
No. No.
That sucked.
Yeah.
And so every time you stop, let's say you go 20 yards, you have to stop, it's 10 burpees. Then you go another 30 yards, you have to stop, that's another 10 burpees. And you're having to do this, and you have to accumulate 1,000 yards each. So 10 sets of these board pushes. And again, not speaking hyperbolically, it was in the 12 years since I've graduated and was done playing ball, that was up there with, it definitely was top 3 most difficult workouts I've done in the last 12 years.
Yeah,
it was that
agree.
hard.
I would agree.
And it was one of those, like, we just threw it on paper and we thought, yeah, this will be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
But I way underestimated how difficult it'd be. I way overestimated my physical capability.
Well, because, I mean, sled pushes and loaded carries, that's something that you incorporate in your workouts weekly. I mean, you may not do it every day, but like that's something that you do. And so you think, okay, look, it's just a longer version of this, maybe a different movement, different angles and all that. But here's the other thing that Ben didn't put blame on me for is he had a field picked out that he tested it on where the turf was a little bit shorter and just a little bit slicker. And we shifted last couple of days to another field, Salina High School, which is the town that I'm in. They offered to let us use the facility. It's a beautiful facility.
Oh my gosh, it was unbelievable.
And so thank you, Salina High School, and Coach Elliott over there. It was awesome. But it's a softer grass, which is better for players.
Right.
And when you walked on, you're like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah. Oh, it was great for football.
But it's way more worser.
Yeah.
Way more worser for board pushes.
Right.
So it's just what it was tougher.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I know you're not getting at some sort of excuse. It wasn't an excuse. I think it would have been hard regardless of where we did it.
No doubt.
But you're right. There were some sticky. It was like pushing more on grass than it was turf, honestly.
There was 2 times during the workout that literally, like, I'm going, the board's stuck, and I barrel rolled over the top of the board because I literally just and there was one I was literally 3 yards from the finish. And so I had to do 10 burpees 3 yards away from the finish line.
Brutal.
I was like, oh, are you kidding me? But here's the thing. So it was a challenge. Yeah, I don't know if we did all of our research on how long that would take and how tough it was.
Yeah, I think we even you predicted like 35 minutes. I said, it'll be 40 to 45.
It'll probably take us maybe a minute and a half, and then you take your minute and a half, 2-minute break, and then you go again. That's easy.
No, I think the final time you finished in
58 or 59.
Yeah, and it took me, I think, in the 60s or 70s easily.
Yeah, I think you were like mid high 60s.
Yeah, it was,
because there was like a 10-minute gap. So we invited a friend. So here's the big humbling point is that we invited a buddy of ours, a younger guy that we work with at our day job, and we're like, all right, he's gonna be the guy that at least makes us feel good, kind of deal. And he works out, and he's in super good shape, and by no means am I knocking that. But he came out there and absolutely embarrassed us. It was it was like a kid embarrassing old men is really what it felt like. And so he was out there, and Ben talked about us doing a lot of burpees and having to stop. He didn't do a single burpee the entire time. He didn't have to.
Yeah, he pushed the board all 100 yards every single rep. It was unbelievable impressive.
And he was going at a slower pace, which in my opinion was harder.
Yeah, I agree.
So I turned it into 50-yard sprints, and I just broke it up into, okay, I'm gonna run it 50 yards. I'm gonna get the momentum of the board going, because every time I'd go slow, it'd stick. So all right, I'm gonna get it going. I'm gonna get to 50 yards. I know I'm gonna do my burpee, so I'm gonna do it. Whereas he just was grinding it out 100 yards at a time, and I was like, that's nuts.
Yeah. So maybe his reps were slower, but he finished way faster because he never had to stop.
Way faster.
The penalty really slows you down.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, all that to say, it was rough. Like I think I did 110. Ended up doing 110 burpees because I had to do a set of burpees every single. Because you could have probably strategized, I'm sure. My philosophy was I'm going to literally push it until I can't push it anymore. And then I'm going to stop. So sometimes I'd get to 80 yards and I had to stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd get to 50 and I had to stop. Like it was literally, because you got to think you're holding a plank essentially for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Times 10.
Yeah. Which is,
so your shoulders give out, your legs give out.
That was one thing I didn't even account for.
Yeah.
Like warm up wise, right? Like we didn't warm up his shoulders. We didn't do that. Like I never would have thought my shoulders and traps would have been sore from that.
It was rough.
But it was.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Okay. So the reason we do this, right, is to push the limits, to see what we're capable of. And we talked about how hard it was and really kind of how humbling it was, because it really was hard. It was hard. Going through that experience, replaying it in your mind, you and I were very similar. It was times that like I had to talk myself into, okay, all right, don't let this negative talk come in my head. Don't talk down to myself. Don't put myself down. Like, what did you learn about yourself mentally through that process? I mean, what did you struggle with? What do you think you did well?
Yeah, there was a lot. And it validated a lot of things we talk about here week in and week out. It validated everything we talk about week in and week out. There was a lot of lessons learned. Number one, we didn't have any music playing. So like to your point, you were in your head the whole time.
Yeah.
It was 100% in between the ears. Now, it was physically demanding, obviously.
Yeah.
And there were points where I literally physically couldn't. It wasn't a mental thing. I physically couldn't go anymore.
Yeah.
But mentally, like the rest periods, for instance, I got into a groove where if I had to stop, I would take a walk across the field and back just to kind of keep my body moving. But I was walking slower than I probably needed to walk. I was walking further than I needed to walk. I was convincing myself I need this longer rest.
Yeah.
And so it was 100% a battle in my mind of, could I go now? Yeah, I probably could, but I'm going to justify by saying, no, I need a little bit more rest.
When you did it, were you one at a time, or were you thinking, okay, hey, look, I'm breaking this up. There's strategy here. I'm doing something. Or were you just like, all right, all I'm focused on is this one rep?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm trying to think back. I think
I don't know, it was a blur. I just blacked out.
There were parts in there, where it was just grunt and move. Like there was not a lot of strategy or thought.
Yeah.
But I did think back to, you hear SEALs talk about one evolution at a time. Mm-hmm. And if you think about 9 months down the road, you're going to fail today because you're thinking too far ahead. Or even if you think about later on in the day, you're going to fail because you're not thinking about this evolution right in front of you. So I did try to compartmentalize and think, all right, just one more rep. I can do one more. That's nice. One more is not going to kill me. And I knew I wasn't going to quit. I knew that wasn't on the table. It wasn't like I was just going to bow out. And so that wasn't necessarily a thing that I struggled with. But yes, the tendency was, man, I've got 8 more of these. Man, I've got 5 more of these. Man, I got 3 more of these.
Yeah.
So you had to definitely break it down into, no, just one more. If I can get through this one, then I can rest.
Yeah.
And I can recover and I can regroup.
Yeah.
And so that was a great lesson of what we do. And again, you want to transfer that to life. It's looking forward to too many things, looking beyond what's at hand. Yeah. That was a good lesson, a good micro lesson in that.
Yeah. And I completely agree, because for me, the first one, I was thinking, gosh, we got 10 of these. And I went 100 yards straight.
Yeah, we all did 100, and we were like,
and I was like, oh,
really?
There's no way I'm doing 10 of these things. There's no way. And I was thinking about 10. Well, after the first one, I said, forget it. I'm doing 50 yards at a time. Like that's all I can think about. And I mean, there's a couple times I'd end up like I'd miscount and I'd stop at like 40 or 45. Like, I forgot how many lines went by me.
That's the other thing. When you're facing down, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And so you don't really know exactly where you are.
No, you're literally just you're trying to count lines as best as you could.
Right.
But it turned into, like you said, for me, what worked in my head was, all right, I've just got to get 50 yards. I'm going to do my burpees right away, and then I'm going to breathe. Okay. And then I'm going to limit that time, but I'm not thinking about, okay, what about how tired am I going to be on the 6th or 7th rep? That's going to be really hard. And then and then before I knew it, I was halfway done, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm 5 in. All right, great. 50 yards. And then the last 2 reps, it was, all right, the last 4 reps, I'm sorry. All I've got to do is get back here, and then I only have 1 more rep after that. Yeah. So it was literally just kind of playing mind games so that there was still positivity through the process where I was like, all right, cool. All I got to do is get there and back, and then I only have 1 more.
Yeah. No, it's funny how much goes through your head and how many deals you try to make with yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
the negotiation is real.
Negotiation, that's the word.
Yeah.
And literally the only reason I kept going is because I was the accountability of you guys being there.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'd love to be able to say, yeah, I'd go out there and do it on my own.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
So, okay, so that's a good point, is how much of the driver was your competition that was there. So, because there's conversations around, all right, how are you driven? Do you have that internal fire? Are you externally motivated?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that there's a lot of negative talk about, well, you should be internally motivated. You should be well, here's the reality. Like, I am a scoreboard driven guy. Mm-hmm. When we're at our company and it's just like, all right, go make your own money. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go work hard and I'm going to go get what I can. But like, if you put a competition out there where it's, all right, who sets the most meetings this week, or who closes the most deals this month, or whatever it may be, like, when there's a scoreboard out there, then I am motivated externally. Mm-hmm. And so what I'll do, knowing that about myself, is I'll create those scenarios so that I do still have a scoreboard. So, right. Okay, I've got something visible. But like, for you in this competition, was that external competition, was that good or bad for you?
I don't think the competition of winning it was a driver for me. It was more proving to myself I could do it.
Yeah.
Was more of my driver.
Yeah.
I could probably have gotten a wild hair and gone out there and done that by myself. And it would have taken much longer. I would have rested a whole lot more.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's a dichotomy, right? It's how motivated are you? The great ones definitely are motivated by their own drive, and they need help along the way, of course, but they're able to start their own engine. They're able to get through it.
Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time with that, because if you look at Jordan, you look at Tom Brady, like, they want to be the best ever to do it.
Right.
And to say that, like, well, I'm just going to be the best that I can be. Well, you don't have a gauge. Like, you don't have a gauge of what the best ever is until you bring in that external competition.
Right.
So, like, I get it, like, internally motivated. Like I think you're incredible about being internally motivated about, okay, look, I'm up in the morning, I'm getting my workout in, I'm getting my business done. Like, I'm all the things that need to get done internally. Like, you have that drive. Like, for me, getting those things done is because I've got family, I've got colleagues, I've got friends, I've got things like that. And then that's why I do CrossFit, because I like the group, I like the competition. Like, I push harder. Like this morning, I had a lift. I went way harder than I would have because I was working out with someone that was pushing me.
Right.
So it's the whole thing about, the great ones, they're totally motivated about being the best that they can be. It's like, well, what's the gauge?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I meant more along the lines of, like, Kobe talked about waking up at 3:30 every morning, and he would get 2 or 3 workouts done before most people are even awake, right?
That doesn't mean you can't work out by yourself.
Right.
But the motivation is that I'm chasing Jordan.
Right. Well, right. And that's not what I'm saying is nobody forced him to be out there.
Right.
He got himself up. He was in the gym, all because he wanted to be great. Right. Because he wanted to be better than Jordan, whatever. Yeah. That was what got him going.
Yeah.
If you're constantly just being motivated by, I'm only going to show up if somebody else is there.
Right.
I'm only going to do this workout because Tyler and this other guy are pushing me through it.
Yeah.
Right. The special ones are ones that are able to. So again, I think I could have gotten a wild hair, gone out there and done that by myself, but it definitely helped to have other people out there pushing me and going through it with me.
Yeah.
So that was a lesson that I learned of, yes, I wake up most every single day and I work out on my own, but it made me realize I'm not pushing myself as hard as I think I am.
Yeah.
Yes, it feels hard in the moment when I'm working out by myself, but there's always another level I could go to. And I think it would be easier to achieve that level if other people were in there holding me accountable.
Yeah.
I was able to your point, I was able to reach for something, and I was pushing towards something.
Yeah.
So that was an eye opener for me is, we talk about being ready for anything. And yes, I was ready to the extent of I was able to get through the workout, but it showed me I have a big major weakness in this scenario in my muscular endurance.
Yeah.
That's a type of workout I don't do very often.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to like we all do, to gravitate towards things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
And so that's what my workouts at home usually look at. It's things that, I push myself, but it's things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
Versus doing something that's
It's like
both uncomfortable physically and mentally.
Yeah, it's like for me, and I'll just again speak for myself, is in high school, I'd go all football season and I'd play offense every snap. I played defense every snap. I played all special teams except for kickoff. And so I'm thinking like, all right, I'm literally on the field for 3.5 hours. Like I'm in great shape, and I'm in great shape. And then I go to wrestling after that season, and then you get exposed on a different movement, different type of aerobic, anaerobic resistance, right? It's completely different.
Right.
So it's the same thing. It's like, hey, you can go run a marathon, and yes, I've got endurance, but then you go over and you say, okay, hey, we're going to do 4 time. You're going to do 10 rounds of 5 deadlifts, 10 toes to bar, and then you're going to do 15 calories on the Echo bike. You're going to feel a whole lot different doing that workout, even though you're in great shape and you're doing something. It's just the change of movement. And that's why you talk about it a ton is really mixing up those workouts, using things from different areas to become as well-rounded as you can. Obviously, if you're like competing in something or like you're super serious, yes, you've got to like train for that. But being well-rounded is only going to help these other areas. Yeah. Just like when it comes to sports, being a multi-sport athlete is going to help you in the other sports. Like training for football is going to help you for basketball. Training for basketball is going to help you for track. Training for track is going to help you for baseball. I mean, there's when you train multi-planes, it only helps.
Yeah. It just, like I said, it was an eye opener for me, and it was a humbling moment for me, thinking I'm in good shape, and then I go throw something in the. I go do a workout that's out of my wheelhouse, and I just realize what weaknesses I do have.
So maybe last thing we talk about on this is, what were some of the things that like crept in your mind mentally that you struggled with throughout, that you didn't necessarily expect?
Yeah, there was a few things. I think, the biggest thing was, we sit here on this microphone in this air-conditioned room, and we talk about mental toughness, and we talk about physical toughness, and a lot of that's based on past life.
Yeah.
And what we did on the football field, and what we did in the fitness industry, and what we're doing in business. What Saturday exposed to me is it's so much easier to talk about things than it is actually implement it and do it.
Yeah.
And that was an eye-opener. That's what I struggle with mentally is, man, we sit here and talk about mental toughness, and I'm sitting here
but you're on the field.
Right
what are those voices in your head? What are they saying? Like, what are you having to battle in your head?
Just that it was never I can't do this. That was never a battle. It was more, hey, like you're about to throw up everywhere. You need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
That was more the battle for me, was the physical. I'll do anything to avoid throwing up. I'm surprised I didn't just lay on the middle of the field to avoid it. Because that's what I was battling the whole time, was the physical pain of what we were doing. And just getting through like, no, my mind's telling me I can't do anymore. But I can. I can keep pushing through. I'm going to finish it. I know I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
It's going to suck to get there.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the mental battle in my head. But I think the biggest thing looking back on it was, dude, be careful who you listen to and what they're talking about and the advice they're giving you. Are they really actually living it?
Yeah.
And we actually lived it on Saturday.
Yeah.
We actually lived a scenario where we had to be mentally and physically tough.
Yeah.
And I want more of that now.
Yeah.
it's humbling from the standpoint of I haven't been living up to that. I've been talking about it.
Yeah.
We sit and we talk about it week in, week out, but have I truly been living that out? And maybe to a certain extent I have, but Saturday showed me there's still work left to be done.
Yeah, there's still work. I think it's until you try it, you don't know. Like, I'm sure I could do it because I'm X, Y, and Z, but like, if you don't actually get out and attempt it, put yourself in a challenging, uncomfortable situation, how do you know? How do you know how you're going to respond? Yeah. I think for me, mentally, you kind of hit on it a little bit, but the competition was hard for me. Like when our buddy Chris, when he got like a whole 100 yards ahead of me, in my head, I'm battling in my head, like, how you going to let this dude, like beat us? And then, so then I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'm going to stay in shape. I'm going to stay in good, like cardio, positioning. So where, I've got some gas left in the tank and I'm going to sprint the last 2 or 3 and I'm going to make up some ground because I was going faster on it. But then when I saw that he was there, there's no way. Then there was in my head, there was that quit. That came into my head. Not that like I wasn't going to finish, but like
slow down,
conceding.
Yeah.
Conceding the victory. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way. So now I'm just going to do me. And so what I do feel like is I think on like 6 through 10, I would say like my tempo came down and that voice won in this instance where if I truly believed that I was going to chase him to the very end, my tempo would have probably gone faster. And I think physically I could have done it, but I conceded. So I was just like, no, I'm going to take the time. I'm not gonna do it. And that was frustrating. So then in my head, there's that idea that you were hitting on is like, oh, I talk about all this stuff. Like, all right, now you're a fraud.
Yeah.
You let this like baby soft hands dude, Lululemon model come out here and just run circles around us. Yeah. And so that was hard for me. And that was something that I was like, in my head, I had to stop that voice. I think like my last 3, I was like, you know what, forget it. Like, let's just go. Let's get this done. But when you are trailing someone, I think that there's a special skill that you can acquire through conditioning and through training of that skill of, okay, he's beating me and likely he's going to win. I'm still not going to slow down. Right. If anything, even if he wins, he's going to win with me catching up to him. Right. You know what I mean? And I think that's a skill because, you know, whether you're first or second, most people are like, oh, well, I'm already second anyways. I'm going to be, well, no, like you've still got to go through that. And this is what I try to train, you know, my sons when we're out at football. It's like, hey, you may not be the fastest kid, but I want to see you give everything you can through the line. Yeah.
You learn a lot about people when they're getting their ass kicked.
Yeah, that's right.
And we got our asses kicked. And so to your point, how are we going to finish that?
Yeah.
Even though we knew it was out of hand to win, how are we going to finish that? Yeah. So anyway, I think the take home, or I hope the take home for me at least, for people is, you know, maybe you don't got to go get a 2x4 and do 1,000-yard board pushes. You should, but maybe for you the equivalent is getting out and walking a mile because you're, you know, way overweight. You haven't trained maybe ever. So maybe you're listening to this, or maybe you're a little older, whatever. The encouragement, the hope is that this gets you out, that this inspires you to get yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do something beyond what you think you're physically capable of. We thought we were in decent shape. This pushed us to our physical limit. That's my encouragement to you. Because the perspective that we now have after Saturday, it seems dumb, it seems trivial that a workout can do that for you, but it truly can teach you. It gives you great perspective. So that would be my encouragement is, yes, maybe you don't do this exact workout, but do something that pushes you, makes you want to quit in the middle of it, but you've proved to yourself that you're not going to, and you're going to finish it. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that video. I think it's going to come out this Saturday. You're listening to this on Wednesday. I think it's going to go live this Saturday. I got to see a little sneak preview of it. It's pretty entertaining. Watching us suffer like that. So hopefully you get some entertainment value out of that. But that's on our YouTube channel exclusively. It can be, you know, we're not going to put that anywhere else. It's just going to be on our YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, One Shot Podcast. Look out for us on Instagram as well at one.shot.pod. Any final closing thoughts from you, Ty?
No, it was great, and I'm excited. And I for the first time in my life, I think I get what some of these guys when they're like, all right, I'm going to do this endurance race, or I'm going to do this super marathon. I'm not there. Trust me, I'm not there. But I get it because there was, when we did finish, there was this. What we're talking about in the book, there was this dopamine rush, right? Of like, didn't think that I was going to finish. Yeah. Like, through the first 9 reps, wasn't sure if I was going to finish, but then I did, and I pushed myself past it, past what my mind thought that I could do. My body made up for it and showed me, look, my body is stronger than what my mind gives it credit for.
Yeah, speaking of dopamine, my mind, it felt good to finish, and then my mind was already immediately to, all right, what are we doing next month? That dopamine's already getting me thinking about the next month. So, I'm glad we started this. It was good for us. It was really good for us because, again, we can sit here and talk about it all we want, but we need to actually be out there living it and leading the way.
And keep on the lookout. We're gonna start opening this up. So if you're in the area and you want to come join us,
bring your freaking lunch pail. I can tell you that. We're not making this easy.
Look, bring your lunch pail and your pen because you're going to sign a really extensive waiver. Because we take zero responsibility. But yeah, keep a lookout. But honestly, man, hey, thanks for getting this in motion. I picked the next workout. Actually, no, we're going to do the hat draw. We're going to put in like 10 different sucky things. And we're going to draw it out of the hat.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.